more recently, she's like, well, I had a trauma bond with Ocean, and now with this baby, I don't have that kind of connection at all. And then like the way that she like fawns over the new baby's looks, and I'm just like, this is going to give that child some problems. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bravo, We're Black during Women's History Month. Okay, women, we love them. May we be one. May we raise them. May we love one, or whatever that little saying is. I have a woman with me, and she is a phenomenal one because she is literally a pop culture commentator, a literal like comedian, which is crazy to me because who can stand in front of a crowd, make jokes, and like keep it going if they don't laugh? Obviously they laugh because you're hilarious. I've heard her on many podcasts. She has her own podcast. We have Hannah Brown with us today. Welcome, Hannah.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me, Kaya. I'm so thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled.
I am so glad that you're here. I mean, you're good friends with Raven.
Yes, I really feel like this was just a matter of time. Like, we have mutual friends, we have mutual interests. Like, I'm so pumped. And also, thank you so much for all your kind words. And I'm new to stand-up, but I'm manifesting a Hannah Berner-esque Netflix special someday.
Oh my, I'm manifesting that for you because if she can do that, then you definitely can do that.
So much.
Because who would have even like thought? This is the Bravo episode, you guys, but we're not going to just be doing like recaps and stuff like that. Mm-mm. We had Aaron on last week to talk about the first episode of Atlanta, and then we'll have him probably on again next week to talk about more Atlanta. But I want to talk about some hot topics. But in general, Summer House is a hot button issue right now. Like in the Bravoverse and in our regular pop culture universe between the C word, Craig, and Paige, and Hannah, and Kyle. It's just like, what is going on with these people? And I would have never thought that after she left Summer House, that she would not only be successful in stand-up, but she's everywhere. Like, the girl is everywhere.
Can't be stopped.
I mean, I'm proud of her in one breath. But in the other, I'm just like, who is her publicist? Like, what machine is this? She's not an industry plant, I don't think necessarily, but I don't understand where all these like spots are, because I know she's married to Des, who I think he's big in Ireland. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I'm like a percentage Irish. It was literally St. Patrick's Day. Shout out to all my Irish people. I hope that you guys got fucked up and got drunk, Maybe me and Des are related somehow. Maybe you can help me out here.
You have to have a green beer together someday.
Literally. And I do, before we even talk about, Hannah more, got to get her ass about that Megan Thee Stallion moment, because it does take away from people who are like not just like people of color, but people who are in the journalism industry for real. And we're seeing that not just like her being a white privileged woman being able to speak to Megan Thee Stallion. And that's the thing that you say to her when you're able to speak to her. But we're seeing this also in regular life right now. Just Hilarious of the Breakfast Club. She came from the internet, she's hilarious on the internet. She got some, like gigs on different like movies or TV shows. And then she landed a spot on the Breakfast Club after pretty much trying out after being a guest host. And I don't know if you've been following the drama, but what's happened is that Jess went on maternity leave. They brought in a girl named Lauren. Lauren is a producer, but in addition to being a producer, she's also someone who worked for TMZ for multiple years. Okay. She's like a real deal journalist. And this opens the conversation of like influencers getting the upper hand over people who have studied to be, in that broadcast position. So what's going on the Breakfast Club is that Lauren is on there. She came on while Jess was on maternity leave. And basically she did so good that they never told Lauren to like leave the show. They still have Lauren on there.
Okay, I
And
love
a lot
that.
of people, the thing is though, like although Jess is good, a lot of people have been in the comments basically saying like Lauren is better than Jess. And not only is Lauren better than Jess, it's because she actually has that, experience. When Jess does the Jess with the Mess segment, she kind of stutters over her words and she's not really good at the reporting part, but she's great at making you laugh because she is a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
She's a professional comedian turned into like a broadcaster. So I think the drama over there is like you have these two amazing Black women who are accomplished in their own ways, but as we're seeing, like followers are being put over actual, like, what people have studied for and worked for.
Right.
And with Hannah Berner, I think her background is literally like being a tennis player. And then, they had Giggly Squad.
And she worked for Bitches.
She worked for, yeah. And then she got fired from Summer House. And since then, it has been a little bit of a slow burn because I would say it picked back up 2 years ago. Like it wasn't just instantly when you got fired, you got like, no, she got fired. She was a bit low key, she got married and like all that good stuff. And then we see her kind of everywhere. Now we see Giggly Squad pretty much everywhere. And it's good to see if you're a Hannah fan. It's good to see in general that someone could have this path, but I want, because you're a comedian, what do you think about like not the controversy, but just like people who have a bunch of followers kind of not taking the jobs, because that really sounds like a Trump supporter. They took all the jobs, but like, like being in the position of not just having a podcast, but like being on the red carpet, doing jobs that people who are trained to do this job, aren't able to do.
It's interesting because like, so I'm also an actor and I feel this way a lot with acting too, where it's like you see like Alex Earl is getting into acting now. And it's not like there's ever a world in which Alex Earl and I would be going out for the same parts. So I don't know why I feel like personally slighted by this news. But like when I see an influencer be like, and I'm actually getting into acting now, the actor in me is like, well, fuck off. Like you already have $1 bajillion. Can you just like stay in your influencer lane and like let actors do the acting? So like even with stand-up, I'm like really new to it, but it's interesting because I have friends who are comics and also have like a big following online, and they're like, oh my God, you should like open for me. And I'm like, that's so cool. I will absolutely take that opportunity. That's amazing. But then there's definitely like kind of an old guard when it comes to stand-ups, because I have other friends who like did stand-up the old school way where they're like, I'm not on TikTok. I went to Mike's 5 nights a week and I networked my ass off to get the opportunities I had. So it is like complicated because it's like when my connections benefit me, I'm not going to say no to an opportunity.
Of course.
I'm trying to build something from the ground up too, but I also completely understand the frustration. And I also like, my biggest issue is like, if you are someone who has a leg, if you have a leg up because of your following, I think you need to come over prepared and really show people that you have like a space there, that like you've earned a spot. And like what disappointed me about Hannah and Paige on that red carpet was like they seemed underprepared. They were really unprofessional. They made it about them and not about the talent, which is like quite literally like the job is to make it about the talent. And so like that annoyed me more than the fact that they were there to begin with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you already know how it's going to be perceived that you only got this job because you have so many followers.
Right.
So why wouldn't you take it seriously and be like, well, yes, I got the job because of the followers, but let me do a good job at it.
Prove everyone wrong. I mean, like I love nothing more than like being proven wrong about something where I'm like, oh, this is going to be a flop. And then I'm like, damn, okay, that person actually did a really good job. It's like when Sheena Shay performed at the Roxy. Like no one expected her to do a good job, but then even Stassi had a good time at the end of the day.
Exactly. It's like you gotta give it to her.
I like it when it's hot.
what a freaking year for Sheena, actually. Like, the
Hello.
turnaround. Gaga met her.
Just two 5'2" queens embracing.
It's insane. Because of all people, I guess, on the Vanderpump Rules cast, it makes sense that Gaga would be a fan of the one who wants to be a performer, the one who is like, off her rocker, the one who really like just puts her heart on the line. Like, it adds up. But just to hear her say it and then see her a few weeks later,
Yeah.
introducing her to her fiance, who's the one that I'm crediting with giving us old Gaga. Like, he is a monster gone deep undercover, and I thank him.
It was an inside job. He was like, I'm going to be a mole for the monsters and marry this woman and bring back her old sound. And we're all grateful.
Thank God. That's the only time I'm like thankful for a straight man.
So true.
But yes, and then we're gonna see Sheena on The Valley season 2. I did not think that I do not think that if Gaga did not acknowledge Sheena, that she would possibly be getting the opportunities that she may be getting in the future. Like, I know she had a book coming out, so when she showed up on Masked Singer, I'm like, well, Tom Sandoval was on Masked Singer, so anyone could be on Masked Singer.
Come on.
But I was 100% sure she would not be able to be on Dancing with the Stars. But now you got the co-sign from Gaga. So I feel like if you have a co-sign from Gaga, you might be able to get on Dancing with the Stars.
I want that for her. I will say, like, has Sheena been insufferable in the past? Absolutely. But there is an authenticity. Like, even at her worst, she's at least herself. Like, I really don't think she's changed much from season 1 to now. And I think that's actually really hard to do because we've seen it on, like, a lot of the Housewives shows. I don't even, like, keep up with the Housewives anymore, but, like, a lot of them, it's like in season 1, Housewives was fun because it's like you saw these aspirational people having relatable fights. And it's like seeing aspirational people have fights about like aspirational things, like, oh, you always get glam, or like always you're always planting stories. Like, that's just not like fun. So Sheena has kept it Azusa this whole time, and I appreciate that. And I hope she's on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, I think that the last season of Vanderpump Rules, I was just like completely turned off by her and Lala. And I was just I was a Lala girl down.
I know, she let us down big time.
And the way that she acted, and then it wasn't just like, okay, you can act this way this is the last season and that's what it happened. But she kept it going after, to the point where they're not even like speaking in real life. She speaks on Ariana anytime she gets asked about it. And Ariana is just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm flying to Fiji in 2 weeks to fucking host Love Island. Like, I don't care.
It's the best work she's ever done. I mean, she's so good at hosting that show. She's doing well with her boyfriend, which I'm thrilled for her about. But yeah, Lala like really does triple down on things. And like, she was such a fun like burst of fresh energy when she started on the show, even in all of her messiness. And now she just seems like kind of bitter. And I do not like her podcast.
I used to like it.
Same.
I don't know what it was before she even like got her assistant on the show, before the brother was on the show. Like, it was her and Randall. I didn't really listen to it then, but like when she was like getting her life back together, it's like that's when I really like was like into it. But then I don't know what changed. I think it was
Easton ruined it.
Yeah, him and his dreadlocks. Him
and his dreads upset me so much. And when Lala makes like an extremely mediocre joke and he's like, ooh, and he does this like goofy, crazy cartoon laugh, I'm like, this is a lot for me. Like, this is a lot.
I think it's also like, and this is very sensitive, but you guys know I'm going to keep it 100 with you guys. Like, when Lala talks about her new baby and the way that she talks about her first child, Ocean, they're both beautiful, adorable, innocent babies. So I'm not talking about them. It's just the way that she talks about them so differently. Even more recently, she's like, well, I had a trauma bond with Ocean, and now with this baby, I don't have that kind of connection at all. And then like the way that she like fawns over the new baby's looks, and I'm just like, this is going to give that child some problems, like some confidence issues.
Ocean's
because this is all
talking about it. Yeah.
This is all being like recorded. Like, okay, it's okay to be honest. Like, yes, when she first had her baby, she had to leave her man because she found out that he was cheating. And you kick into fight or flight mode. And I can't imagine being a new mother. This is your first child. You're, sober now. Like, so you can't even go back to the bottle and handle it. Like, you have to just like, kick it into gear, and you're on this show and everyone wants to know what happened and you're embarrassed and all that. I understood all the things that she was saying, but it's just the way that she talks about this baby. She's like, this is just my baby. And I'm just like, you don't have to keep saying that. We know that you got a sperm donor. We know that you're in love with your baby. We know that you love Ocean also. So in order for it not to sound, like you're trying to put, you clearly have a favorite right now. Mm-hmm. Just stop talking about that.
Please.
And even finding out like her explaining how she had to like Photoshop Ocean, and I'm just like, you don't need to address these things because you're making it worse. Yeah, it was a few months ago and I understand why she did it, because Ocean has like a dead tooth because she like knocked her tooth out of her mouth or something like that, or knocked it back, and like in the front, like it's black or whatever because it's a dead tooth.
It's a Sheena tooth.
Basically. And she was like, so like all I did was make her teeth white, but everyone wants to talk about it and I'm such a horrible mom, and I'm like, no. And she just makes it worse and worse and worse, and I'm like, Lala, please. I don't know what it's gonna be, like what is gonna be her redemption arc, because I think that Sheena's redemption arc is that her podcast, she's talking about things that we all relate to. She's on Masked Singer. She's doing her book, which she's the one who knows the most. Sheena is the reason that we have Vanderpump Rules. So at the end of the day, she can be as annoying as she is. And she could have pissed me off the way that she did before. But I think that with Sheena, there's no like genuine malice.
I agree.
And with Lala, it's like this girl is jealous and she can't let it go.
Yeah, she gets very bitter and very jealous. And I'm saying that as someone who has also struggled with both of those things. But I think the problem with Lala is like she gets really nasty and then she gets really emotional and sensitive, which again, I understand that life too, but it doesn't seem like she ever fully takes accountability, and it doesn't fully seem like she ever learns from anything. And that's where it just gets not only frustrating, but just boring, because it's like we're on the
and she never apologizes.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're on the same merry-go-round of behavior over and over, and it gets to a point where it's like no longer entertaining or cute, and it just gets like obnoxious.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I'm hoping that. And then I'm looking at the Valley's, like the preview for the Valley, because I didn't cover or watch the first season. But, Sheena and Lala are going to be on there. And from my friends who watch the Valley, they do not want their ass on there at all.
I don't either.
Okay, and I co-sign it. And I'm looking at the Valley, like the preview, and she is telling this guy that he's like a narcissist. And I'm like, do you just go... I mean, I believe the guy is a narcissist, but do you just go show to show to tell men that they're narcissists and like insert yourself into shit that you have nothing to do with? Because this is not your show. Like this isn't your show. You don't have to be around him. Yeah, you don't have to be around him. You came onto this man's show to call him a narcissist. And he's not like, okay, if he was, let's say she's friends with, okay, she's on and off with Brittany, but if she was good with Brittany and that was like Jax that she was speaking to, it makes sense because that's your friend. But I don't even know if she knows Jesse's ex-wife or whoever Jesse is married. I think it's Michelle. What is her relationship with Michelle even like? Like, does she even know them to talk to that man like that? Like, where do you fit in?
And that's the thing, though. Like, where do they fit in? I'm interested to see how the show goes, because it did feel like kind of this like forced pivot of like, well, VPR is over, but we'll just like put them over here. And I think the reason Valley is working so well is because it has that VPR season 1 vibe, because it does feel like an actual group of friends. It doesn't feel overly produced, at least at this point, fingers crossed. So it's like, I want to keep it that way, which is probably why, I mean, I can't speak for your friends, but that's why, like, I really don't. I'm like, ugh, are Sheena and Lala going to, like, work on this show? Like, I don't know if I really care to have them there, because I don't want to, like, ruin what's already a good thing. And, like, the thing about Jax and Brittany is, like, I truly am repelled by them both as people. I think they're both fucking terrible, but they're such a mess. And they're too dumb to overly produce themselves. So, like, they're going to give us mess no matter what, which is why I'm okay with them being on TV. Same with Kristen.
Yeah, I think that I just didn't watch the first season because and I still feel this way, I didn't like that, like, okay, so you fire these people for being racist, and then they get a show, like, 100%. A show of their own. So I was just like, I'm not into it. But I'm considering watching the second season because, Kristen, I think that she not necessarily has done the work, but I feel like she's done more than Stassi to not necessarily change as a person, but when she apologized, I believed her apology.
Yeah.
She apologized. She went away. I don't know if she learned anything, but I feel like she said that she learned something, and then she, came back eventually, and she just seemed really sorry about it. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm like, okay, maybe I'll dip into the second season. And then also, I know Brittany, I know Jax, and then the rest of the people, they just seem super messy. It looks like and everyone keeps asking me, you have to watch this, kid. You love it. You love it because you're an OG Vanderpumper, and like not only is Jax, Kristen, and Brittany on there, but Stassi isn't on this one because that's the one that I have a problem with, which we'll get into Vanderpump Villa very soon.
Oh my God.
But they're telling me that the new people, like the guys from iCarly, I think his name is is it Dan?
Yeah, no, Danny.
Okay, Danny. Mm-hmm. He's from iCarly, so I'm like, well, wait.
There's some lore there, yeah.
Carly. And then there's Jesse, who they're like, you're going to hate this man. He's a terrible person. Mm-hmm. It's really good to watch, though. And then they're like, but the women are equally as terrible. Like, Michelle apparently is equally as terrible. Kristen has not changed. She's messy as hell. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously, I hate Jax, but I love his antics because it's just, he is who he is. Completely.
100%.
So I'm thinking about watching season 2.
Oh my gosh, I look forward to hearing your thoughts.
Okay, so I think that I'm gonna do it. Let me know, you guys, in the Spotify comments, or DM me or email me at bravoallblack@gmail.com. Let me know if you want to hear coverage on it, or if I can, I might do like a watch with me and only do it on the Patreon for you guys. Because then it would be kind of like a reparations. Like, yeah, I'm covering your show, but you have to either pay for it or sign up for it, I
love that.
So Stassi, when it comes to Stassi, if they put her on the Valley, then I can't watch it. Because the thing about Stassi is that, and I feel like I'm on a soapbox because I keep having the same conversation over and over again, but they just released the preview for Vanderpump Villa season 2.
When does it come back?
It's coming back, very soon. I think it said like April or something like that.
That show is hot garbage, and I will say I love it. I love it more than I thought I would.
I like the first season.
It's like
so
below
much.
Deck,
April 20th.
But like in a parked castle. Sorry, what were you going to say?
April 24th.
Oh my gosh, we got like a month.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're censoring Stassi. And the problem that I have with Stassi is, like, she did her thing. She did worse than Kristen. Like, she was really the spearhead in calling the police on Faith, saying that she, is going AWOL, saying that a lot of the women in Me Too were liars, saying that she was Nazi chic, and
The Oscars.
Plethora.
It was like
the Oscars so white thing. It was just so many. That's just 5 off the top of my head. And then she goes and she, loses her sponsorships and all these things. But she doesn't learn anything from it. She goes on the Tamron Hall show. After she goes on the Tamron Hall show and makes her apology, her camp said that she felt ambushed. Why would you go on a Black woman's show to get your story out there and then claim that you feel ambushed? So it's very clear that you learned nothing.
100%.
And on top of that, she never really got canceled because, she was let go from the show and she was dropped from her network, but instantly went to Patreon, making more money than ever with her boyfriend, so much that she got to build a new house and have a fucking baby. And then she released 2 books, 3 books since then. Like, there was no pause and thought of what she's done. And that's why I feel like Stassi did not learn, whereas Kristen at least took a pause to slow down and see what it was that actually got her canceled. Stassi was never really canceled.
Totally.
100%. And I felt like Vanderpump Villa was messy in the way that, like, we don't really need Stassi to come in and do whatever she's doing.
Yeah. I mean, one beautiful thing is that if you get young, hot people in hospitality and you just plop them in a location, it could be Southern Hospitality, it could be VPR, it could be Below Deck, it could be Vanderpump Villa. We're going to get a show that we probably want to watch. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And you guys learned that from literally just watching Southern Hospitality.
Yeah.
Because I'm not even excited about this new Vanderpump Rules because I'm like, we need to get cameras back in Charleston immediately.
100%. Those kids are giving us everything we need and more, and I'm very grateful for them.
Love them.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm just interested, what the point. I haven't watched the trailer for Vanderpump Villa yet. I didn't even know it came out, so that's great news. But I am interested, what is the angle with bringing Stassi on? What is she going to bring to the show that they didn't already have as a cast on their own? Is she just going to be a guest? Is she going to come in as Lisa's second in command and be let me tell you kids what's up? I don't understand the point. That's what she's going to do?
Yeah, pretty much. And then I'm like, Stassi's there, Bo's going to be on there. And then I'm like, okay, why why? And then the thing about it is that I was like, at first I'm not watching this shit because Stassi's on it. But Mom Talk is going, the girls from Mom Talk are going to be on the show, as guests.
Oh, that's important.
And I'm like, well, damn it, I'm in.
No, Stassi can't take that away from you. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's the Hulu crossover we never knew we needed.
Exactly. And he's going, I don't even know what's going on, but the horrible man from the Jax of Vanderpump Villa, I forget his name. He's going to be flirting with Jess and it's just all this shit that's going down. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to watch it. But,
damn, I can't wait.
I don't know why Stassi's here.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm curious to see how it all shakes out, but she doesn't seem like a necessary addition to me.
Yeah. Okay, so back to Summer House. I know we started off with Summer House and Hannah, but let's get to Paige. Mm-hmm. Paige and Craig, we see the cracks of their foundation, both on Southern Charm and on Summer House. And now we get the tea. There's a Summer House after show. And she talks about how Craig made everything about him, which is not hard to believe at all. If you guys didn't know, me and Sambush are and I wouldn't say close, but we're friends in real life because we worked at the Dipp together. Mm-hmm. The Dipp was the publication. It's not around anymore, but I worked there. I did the social media full time. Was the best job of my jobs ever. Now that I work for myself, though. But when I was at the Dipp, that was the most fun thing ever because I worked with people that I loved. Worked at home. It was really a building community. It was great. It was great. It was our own little betches. But the Dipp is the one that broke the story that Craig was thrown out of the wedding. Sam is the one who wrote the article. And I remember being there during the chaos and like what happened. And for years, not only did Paige deny it and the cast deny it on behalf of Craig, but now Kyle brought it up last week when he was talking about, like, you know, he definitely got kicked out of the wedding. So Sam got vindicated. It just felt so good because I remember, like, for years they've been calling Sam a liar.
Oh my God.
It's insane. And I get it because Paige had to cover up for her horrible boyfriend. And we've all had a horrible boyfriend that we've had to kind of like try to like cover up for at one case in point. So I'm not saying that Paige is like a liar and, you know, like it was fucked up and all this shit. I'm just saying that I'm so happy that Sam's gotten vindicated and the Dipp has gotten vindicated because it's been driving me crazy to be someone watching the show, and every time they bring this up, which I don't know why it's such a big deal. Like, if he got kicked out of the wedding, he got kicked out of the wedding.
I know. People get kicked out of weddings. People get uninvited from weddings. Shit happens.
Exactly. And I mean, deny it once, sure, but like they made it a storyline that will like Easter egg like once a season for some reason. Because I remember before they pretty much solidified it and made it true. Recently, it was like either this last season or the season before last. I think it was last season where Lindsay and Paige were talking, and she's like, "Oh, you leaked the story about like, you know, Craig or whatever that wasn't true or some shit like that." And I'm like, this is coming up again when it is true.
It's maddening.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So then last week when Kyle was like, and make no mistake, he did get kicked out of the wedding. He was referring to that article. And then on top of that, in the after show, Paige was like, he made everything about him, even weddings. So like she finally like vindicated the Dipp and Sam Bush. So it's been hilarious to see. And to speak about Sam Bush, in addition to that, when she was on the podcast the last time, summer, like just this whole summer house thing, everyone's wondering about Bailey, and like the whole drama or the whole word on the street was that Bailey was let go because she was talking shit about the cast. Mm-hmm. Sam came on and she said that the real reason that we won't be seeing Bailey is because she had a boyfriend during filming, and she put everyone, you know, like in her close friends, and Amanda somehow like saw it, or she either put y'all got to go back and listen to it, but she either put people in her close friends, or she thought that she blocked out, you know, everyone. Amanda somehow saw it and kind of like confronted her, and I think that we don't see much of her this season if we ever see her again. But people were saying, well, why? That doesn't make any sense. But what someone else told me, who wasn't Sam, they said that producers specifically wanted single people on this season of Summer House because that's what we need. And I'm like, that is what we need. What do you think about that?
Ooh, that's tough. Well, first of all, I think that's really dumb on Bravo's part to do like the bare minimum vetting of Bailey. Like, okay, like it's not that hard to figure out if someone's in a relationship or not. Like, yes, Bailey could have like lied about it, but also like, okay. The other thing too is like, I get what they're saying, but also I don't know. I don't know, because I here's the thing, like, yes, I agree we need single people, but also like there's only so much that they can engineer themselves. Like, I am also really irritated by Lexi. Like, she's like a hate watch for me. Like, her and Jesse are a hate watch, like as a couple. And like, yeah, like it's enjoyable to hate watch things. And I, you know, in the 2 seconds I saw Bailey, like she didn't say much, but also that could have been in the edit. Like, I don't know what we're being robbed of here. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, the other thing too is it does feel like they're trying to usher in this new era of Summer House because, you know, people are getting married and having babies and like how much drama can you really have when you're like settled in yourself in your life? So I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like we need single people. And then I also feel like if we weren't going to have like, if she wasn't going to be single, then she needed to make up with it with personality. So
Exactly.
she just wasn't really, and I don't know if Lexi is giving personality either.
Don't
So
get me
it's like
started.
maybe I'm like, you know, being hypocritical here. Maybe the only reason that Lexi seems interesting is because Jesse took a liking to her because obviously he's love bombing her.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So
They're so triggering for so many reasons.
what do you think about like not just like okay, I understand that she is being love bombed, but like also her allowing herself to be love bombed. Like I don't know because there's a point where I'm like, you've known this guy for 2 weekends. Why are you letting him meet your family? Also, why is your family at the club with you? Also, why did you buy so many followers? Like you have 1 million followers and you have 20 comments. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. But at the same time, I also don't dislike her. It's just like, I don't know. She confuses me.
I think her confidence is in the toilet. Because, and I'm saying that as someone who has been there are things that she does that are hard to watch for me because I'm like I've been where this girl's been. My confidence has been in the toilet was in the toilet for all of my 20s, okay? But I think it's like she is actively being love bombed and then she's also yeah, like giving over to it where it's like, come meet my parents. Don't comment on those girls' pictures. Like, it's really hard that you're a boob guy and like, I don't have boobs. And like, just like the things she's complaining about. And then, oh my God, the thing that really got me in not this week's episode, last week's episode was when
Okay.
Jesse was going to dinner with Carl, West, Amanda, and Paige. And Lexi showered with Jesse right before he left and then gets ready and like everyone else is in like comfy clothes because they're all like lounging around the house until they meet up with everyone when they go out later. But Lexi immediately does her makeup and puts on this like sequined crop top, exposes her very flat stomach and then wears like low-rise baggy jeans. And I'm like, I know your fucking game. You want the last thing that Jesse sees before he goes to dinner
Right.
with these hot girls that you're threatened by is you looking cute and he wants to remember showering with you just now. Like, I fucking know how your head works. And then they go out and then the second they get home, Lexi, of course, changed into booty shorts with a crop top. Like she thinks just showing as much skin as possible equals fashion. And it equals Fashion Nova, if I'm honest. And then like the second they get home, she drops it low and like does her arm in like a lasso. And it's so embarrassing. And then Jessie goes up with Sierra and Amanda to make a TikTok and she jumps into the background of it. And I'm like, she chases Jesse into the room and I'm like, stop, like stop. So I think it all just comes down to she's deeply insecure. And I hope that she stops being deeply insecure because like the way Jesse is treating her is not it. Like the way he's all over Sierra the second she's gone is like so inappropriate. Sierra's like
Yeah.
not even into it, but like she's allowed to have fun
Doesn't.
flirting with her friend.
Right. And like, girl, you just got here. So it's just
Yeah.
like, you know, it's weird. And I really hope that they are trying to like just rage bait us with the preview. But if she tells Sierra that she does not trust her
Oh my
over
God.
Jesse, who is for the streets,
Oh my God.
I will actually have to block her because I just I can't do that. I can't do it.
I can't either.
Like she does not want Jesse. And even if she does, well, let's say she does want Jesse. Why are you mad at her and not at your man who you introduced to your parents?
After knowing him for 5 minutes, by the way, her family, I hate listen to like an episode and a half of their podcast. They have a very sinister energy to me, and I think they like literally fancy themselves like the Kardashians. Like they're like, it's like we like party together, we like go to restaurants, like rip shots, and like they just like get fucked up together all the time.
I saw a post that talked about the podcast because I was not going to listen to it.
No.
But they said that on the podcast, she goes episode by episode and explains everything that happened. And I'm just like, I understand, you know, that you have a podcast, you want to give your side of things, but also leave some things to the imagination, or at least let us watch the show. Like,
no, literally. And she also like just like the episode I listened to was either last week's or the week before, but like she talked about this like British guy who came to town, and her mom and her sister were like, yeah, we like really liked him, and like he's really great. And I'm like, okay, I don't work for Bravo, I'm not like on their legal team, but like surely you signed some paperwork saying like you shouldn't spoil things. So it's like, even if she's not dating Jesse anymore, it's like, well, could you just have not talked about who you're dating publicly? Because like,
right.
I want to watch the show and know what happens with you guys.
And I'm like, and then it brings me back to, well, damn, y'all kicked Bailey's ass off because she, you know, did some, like whatever it was, right. We're not going to see enough of Bailey, but this one's out here spoiling the bits. Like,
it's really annoying. She posted a TikTok recently that was like, back home in Canada, and it's like her at a ranch, like in like sweatpants and like a crop top. Always a crop top, because the more skin, the better.
Super crop though.
Yeah, if you're thin, that's your whole personality, and you get to just like show it all the time. And she's like running up to like a fence, like at a ranch, and everyone in the comments is like, "Girl, you're from Toronto." Like she's really trying to be like, I'm just like a down to earth farm girl from Canada, and I'm like, you're from Toronto. Get a grip and rub in your eyeliner. I mean, lip liner.
I don't necessarily like her. It's like I want to like her so bad because I love a pretty girl, and I understand the hate that not personally, but like I understand that like a lot of women will take their anger out on like a really beautiful skinny woman, but you are making it too easy. Like you are doing it on purpose. You are also like, are you actually going to be hurt by what Jesse does to you? Or did you also use Jesse to, you know, have a storyline? Because if she wasn't with Jesse, what would we know? The only thing that I felt, you know, was genuine with her was when she talked about her friend that she lost. And I was like, this is the first thing that I like know about you other than the fact that you're a model. Because every 5 seconds it's, I'm a model, and I was bullied because I was a model, and I'm beautiful, and I'm skinny, and I'm a model. Like,
did you hear the lore though about her friend?
No, tell me.
Okay, so obviously I want to be delicate because he's no longer with us, and it's all very sad. So she was best friends with this young man who passed away, and was posting after he passed away, being like all these screenshots of their text conversations of him being like, I love you, I'm going to marry you, I love you, gorgeous girl, blah, 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 and all these pictures of them together. And she was really fucked up by the loss, obviously. But he had a girlfriend when he passed away, and she was posting all these receipts of how he was like obsessed with her right after he passed away. And the girl that he was dating when he passed away has since passed away too. Isn't that awful? And I'm not saying there's like a correlation between like Lexi posting and the girl.
No, yeah, but like that's just something that's,
it's in poor taste. Like it's like, obviously if that's your best friend, it's your best friend. But like if he's dating somebody else, like that girl just lost her boyfriend, and you're gonna post all these screenshots of texts of him saying how he wants to marry you and he loves you.
Right.
Gorgeous girl he's ever seen. Like that's not cool.
And what did she pass away from?
I don't know. I need to. I need to.
I want to know that.
I know, but it's very spooky.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, so I think that she should have been sensitive, and it's crazy that girl passed. Do you know how long it was in between, like, the passing?
I don't. I love how I'm like, do you know the lore? And I don't even fully know the lore. I only know like the high level.
That is sad, and that is interesting, and I am immediately going to be Googling this and going on Reddit.
Oh, there's a whole like Reddit thread called like Lexi Wood Tea or something.
Child.
I know. Buckle up.
So, okay, I've kept you so long, but I've been having a good time.
Me too.
Can you tell me more about you starting back up the non-aspirational pod, more about your journey into wanting to do like stand up, doing stand up, and then also just like acting in general. Like, how did you get into entertainment, and how did you know that you were perfect for it?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for asking. Podcast, okay, let's see. We'll start there. So I just brought back my podcast, Not Aspirational, with Hannah Erin Brown. I recently added my middle name into my social handles
Yes.
because I've been confused for The Bachelor's Hannah Brown for the last like 5 years, and I'd had enough.
I wondered why you did that. I was like, wait, that wasn't, is this the same? And then I just went to Raven's profile and I'm like, okay, this is.
No, the thing that ultimately broke me was because I was invited on a podcast via my agent, but it was meant for the other Hannah Brown. And even though it was probably a little delulu of me to think it was for me at any point, I still was like, cool, okay, because you would also think that it's not that hard to vet which Hannah Brown you're like
Right.
The other Hannah Brown's agent. Like the fact that they went through my agent and not to me directly made me be like, oh wait, is it for me? Anyway, that broke me. I, of course, made a TikTok about it that went viral. Everyone shit on me, and they're like, that's your fault. Who do you think you are? You should change your name. Blah, blah, blah,
blah. What?
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, you're all annoying. And then I slept on it, and then I was like, Hannah Erin Brown, like Erin spelled like a boy is my middle name, and I was like, that's chic, and it makes me sound like my dad's rich, so I was down for it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so thank you. So I brought back my podcast, though, after like giving it like a 5-year nap, mainly because in 2020 I was like in a really low mental health place, as so many of us were during the pandemic. Yeah. And I was like, I'm just not in a place to like, I'm a chronic oversharer, and that's sort of become like my brand, but not in a way where I really force it. It's just like who I am. Like I'm the person at the party where people will be like, I didn't realize we were getting deep. And I'm like, I didn't realize I was.
That's literally what happened on Bravo on Black, the one that I released on, what is today? Today is Thursday. On Thursday's episode, like I did the White Lotus monologue.
Yes.
On the
you
show.
Opened with it.
Yes. And then I was like, damn, my best friend died, and that really broke me. Like, and then I'm just like, listen, it came out because I feel like I have a codependent parasocial relationship with the people who follow me, and I follow them back because I'm equally invested in my followers' lives.
Yes.
So, I mean, and it feels good because I'm doing everything but going to therapy. I mean, I'm doing acupuncture. I am, listening to other people's therapists. But, like, I love that you're a chronic oversharer. But you said that was it not working out for you? Or did you want to put a pause on it? Or
yeah. What? At the time, it wasn't working out for me. And I love chronic oversharers like you too, because we're a powerful community. And I think that's the cool thing about when you're someone oversharing on the internet or on a podcast, you find so many people in the comments who are like, oh my God, thank you for saying that. Like I've always thought it, but I've never wanted to say it. And you're like, oh my God, like I'm so glad that you could feel less alone. So like I took some time to, go to therapy, get my shit together, get married, etc. And then I was like, I want to bring this back. So I brought that back. And then stand up, I actually dabbled in like some open mics back in Chicago in like 2016, 2017. But like the thing about stand up that's really hard is like, it's famously like not super accepting of women. And and going to open mics in Chicago was like really tough because like, I don't know, at the time I was like working in hospitality. So I was like drinking too much and I would go alone and the guys were like mean to me. And I just like was not confident enough to like withstand any of it. So now that I feel
and
you're
more so like being so young in like a place that's male dominated, alcohol, and like it's scary. And
it's scary. And I wasn't good at like focusing enough to like polish one set. I would always just be writing new material. So like I took a class recently because I was like, this will force me to be patient and just like get one really good like type 5. And then we had our show a few weeks ago and I was like, okay, I really like this. I want to keep going. And podcasting, I would argue, like kind of feels like stand-up in that you're kind of doing bits and you're like telling jokes, the beauty is you just don't know if they land or not unless someone gives you like a mean review or something. So it felt good to go back to it, and now I'm just gonna kind of see where it goes. But it's been really fun, and I love writing, so it's been a cool journey. And then the acting stuff, acting is like my first love. I mean, I love all the things I do. Like it all comes back to Hannah Berner, okay? But the reason like someone like that, I look at her career, I'm like, that's so fucking cool because she's doing like a million different things. Like I want to have like a book and do stand up and have a podcast, and I also want to act. And so like acting is awesome, but it's also kind of hard to make your own opportunities there. So it's like nice to have other creative outlets too while I'm still like plugging away with the acting stuff. But if you ever watch Housewives of the North Pole on Peacock, I have like 4 lines.
I literally watch that every Christmas.
Oh my God! I'm in the coffee shop and I go, what will we do for entertainment now? And then I walk away.
I remember.
My impact.
I remember. It wasn't just because, Kyle Richards and Lisa Barlow and Cynthia Bailey. I was like, Hannah Brown is on it. Like,
oh my God, thank you. I always love Lisa Barlow's line when she goes, I hope it's Trish. Bigger commish.
It was so Lisa Barlow.
It was so Lisa Barlow.
I loved it. And okay, so what was that like? Like, how did you even land? Like, where was this filmed, and how did they hide it? And like when it came out on Peacock, it was
great questions.
Out of nowhere.
It really was out of nowhere. Well, I'm like kind of a Nepo baby now in that my husband works in production. So he was working for the production company that made Housewives of the North Pole. So he got me the audition, but in no way does he have the pull to get me the roles. So I still had to like audition, had to go through a bunch of rounds. Yeah, thank you. I'm like, it is all me, okay? But so we shot in Utah over the summer. And what's so funny is like, like I was in this big heavy coat, like we're all in these winter clothes, and it must have been like 90 degrees in like some respectfully like bumfuck town in Utah. And I remember like, I just always tell myself my biggest thing, like I was saying earlier, is just like be a professional. And I'm like, I have like 4 lines. This is not about me. I'm just here to make the leads look good. I'm here to hit my mark. I want to make everyone's day easier. So I'm standing there and I'm feeling like the beads of sweat like go down my spine. And I'm like, and I am not going to complain about the fucking heat one time because I want to leave this set and have people be like, I don't know who that girl is, but she was easy to work with.
She's a fucking star.
Yeah, she's a delight. But I do remember being like, fuck, it's hard not to complain right now because it's so goddamn hot in this jacket. And you're under the lights.
Like, was it one day? Was it like a few weeks? Like, were you there for the whole movie or just for your lines?
I was just there for my 1 line. So I think I was in Utah for maybe like 2 days. Like I flew in and then I shot the next day and then I left the next morning. But
how iconic.
What?
How iconic.
Oh, it was fun. It was really fun. But I also remember like staying at the hotel and like anytime I like turned a corner, I was like, am I going to see a housewife? And I sadly didn't see anyone. But like... But it was cool to get my call sheet and see like Kyle Richards was called at this time, like Hannah Brown called at this time. I was like, oh my God, I'm on the same call sheet as like Kyle Richards. It's so crazy. And I saw her in the makeup trailer and I was like, we made eye contact in the mirror and it was like a tiny makeup trailer. And I like, when you pass someone on a hike and you go like, hi, you kind of like say it quietly like that. I did that in the mirror and she went, how's it going? She like did not seem like she wanted to talk to me. Like she seemed a little irked that I was there, but maybe I'm projecting that because I'm insecure. And I just want to say that.
How's it going is a good, like, I don't know. It's a good greeting.
It's not nothing.
Than, like, hi. Like, she could have just been like.
So true. She's like, how's it going? Like, I think in my mind, if someone is not over the top warm, and this might be my own internalized misogyny. This might be the patriarchy at work, okay? But if someone's not, it is. And isn't that horrible? If someone's not like, hi, I'm like, they fucking hate me. And it's like, that's not true. Like, it was early. Kyle was coming to work. She didn't fucking know me. She didn't owe me shit. But me with my social anxiety and my internalized misogyny that I hate to admit out loud.
But you're self-aware.
If nothing else. But I was like, oh darn, Kyle doesn't automatically love me. That's so sad. Just want to be my best friend. Bummer.
So what's next for you? Like, now that you killed it with like your stand-up, like, I saw that, like, I think you had like was it a highlight or was it the day that you had it? Because it was really recent. But sold out house, basically.
Oh my God, stop. Thank you.
What's next for you?
I have 2 shows coming up. One this Sunday, March 23rd at Flappers Burbank at 5 o'clock. Check it out if you're in the area. And then I have another show Easter Sunday, actually, /420. So celebrate Jesus, celebrate weed at my
Amen.
show.
Amen.
Yeah.
And then what about the pod? Like, do you have? You just brought it back.
She's young. She's old, but she's young.
She got some Botox.
Exactly. She got some Botox. She got a lower bleph. The pod, I'm just excited to sort of like grow and evolve and see where it goes. I think I'm going to have guests on eventually, but I just like really want to keep it like a super chill, like space to loll. Like, I think what I'm realizing, and you know, like as someone who like creates content, you kind of like learn what you like doing the more you create. And like what I'm finding is like actually towing that line between like being professional, but also realizing that I think I'm at my best when I'm not overly planned or overly structured. That's like the balance I'm currently trying to strike with my show. So come on that journey with me. But I'm excited to start having people on and just talk about whatever the fuck.
I'm so excited. I'm so proud of you. You are doing so many amazing things. I love when you are on Raven's pod. I love seeing you around. I love seeing you in the social media streets and just finding out different things about you. Finally having you on because I've wanted to have you on, but I felt like you took like a little break. So like I kind of like notice when people take a little break.
So perceptive.
So I you know, like, but like, thank you for coming on. We had so much fun. I want to have you back for sure. Let the people know how we can support you. Where can we follow you? And yeah.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. This was literally a blast. Like, so honored. Can't wait to be back. Like, oh my God, day made. Y'all can follow me at Hannah Aaron Brown. That's HANNAHARON on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Substack. I do a weekly newsletter on Substack. My podcast is called Not Aspirational with Hannah Aaron Brown, so check that out. And, you know, give it a listen. If you like me, follow me. If you don't, please leave me alone. I'm just kidding. Or yeah, maybe not.
Make sure you rate the podcast 5 stars, though. That's so important.
So important.
That's ridiculously important. Also, rate this podcast 5 stars.
Hell yeah.
And let me know what you guys are thinking of Summer House. Let me know if you find out any more tea on Lexi. I will be back on Wednesday. Well, no, I'll be back on Monday solo, but I'll be back on Wednesday probably with someone. Thank you guys for listening or watching. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.